Welcome to the Advenio video series. This video takes a look at the Advenio Backoffice system, the portion of the software not visible to the guests to your building, but visible instead to your receptionist or to an administrator designated to track the visitors to your building. You can see from the user interface that this software has only a few but very important options, and we'll begin by looking at the desk configuration. This configuration screen controls much of how Advenio looks and behaves on your reception desk. The first option you see is the Show Touchscreen option. By checking or unchecking this, we can determine if Advenio will show at the bottom of the screen the touchscreen toolbar for your visitors. If you're using a touchscreen monitor, you will indeed want to make that visible so that they have a way to interact with the software. If you're using a mouse and a keyboard, you will uncheck that and it won't be visible on the screen. Next, you can see the default touchscreen option. This will determine which touchscreen keypad is the default one on the Advenio system. Now, the visitors can switch between the two. This simply determines which one is up first. Changing the option here does not change the language of Advenio. The words on the screen will continue to be English. It does change the keypad that the visitors use. Specifically, choosing the Spanish option will give them the ñ character. Next, you see the Appearance configuration file. By default, Advenio comes with a blue theme, with the border at the top introducing itself and welcoming your visitors. But that is very customizable, and Turning Post Technologies can do that customization for you. Simply contact Turning Post at www.turningpost.com to get the current customizing rates. When you get a customized file from Turning Post, you will select that file here to let Advenio know that you are using a customized appearance and not the default appearance. Similarly, the next option is the database file, and this will tell the Advenio system where to find its database. The database acts as the electronic logbook for your Advenio visitors. There are instances where you will want to put the C drive and put it instead onto a network share, and when you do, you will use this option to point Advenio to the database. Each objecting a file has this Browse button. By clicking that, you can peruse your file system to find the files that you're looking for. Next, we have a series of checkboxes that determine what options or what questions Advenio asks your visitors. First, we have the option of showing or hiding the organization prompt. That's the prompt that asks the visitors who they are from, what company they're representing, and why they're visiting your building. If we don't want to show that, we can simply uncheck and that tab will not be visible to the screen. Similarly, the citizenship prompt asks your visitors if they are citizens of the United States or not, and if we uncheck that, that will not be visible on the screen to them either. We also have the Show Department List prompt, and we have the ability here to change our terminology. So when we choose Show Department, we will be asking the visitors what department they are there to visit. In this example, we have decided to call the departments teams, though we have control over that terminology. If you are working in an organization that is made up of agencies instead of teams, you can simply do that. And then here is a semicolon delimited list of options. That is what will populate the drop list on the screen for your visitors so that they can select which one that they are there to visit. Down here we have several screensaver options. Advenio has a couple of screensaver modes, the first of which is a scrolling text mode, where the Advenio screensaver will show a black screen and scroll white text from the bottom to the top. If you would like to use that, you can simply select a text file here that contains the text that you want to scroll. Secondly, Advenio can also show media via Windows Media or Flash animation. This would be the case where you have customers waiting in your visitor area and you want to show promotional or advertising material to them through the Advenio system while it sits idle. In that case, you can choose your media file or your Flash file here. The Flash file is customizable, again, much like the appearance is, and you can contact Turning Post to get current rates for the customization of that Flash screensaver. Lastly, we have this Show Touchscreen to create a visitor's badge header option. When Advenio goes into a screensaver, there will be a banner at the top of the screen that simply says Touchscreen to create a visitor's badge. If you have an animated screensaver, either Windows Media or Flash, and the animation instructs them to touch the screen, you may want to hide this by unchecking it. If you are scrolling text, or if your animation does not include that instruction to them, you will want to select this so it does show, so that a visitor to your Advenio system who hasn't seen it before and approaches the system when it's in screensaver mode will have instructions on what they're supposed to do next. Last, we have the desk name option, which will allow us to name our visitor's desk. If you have a single desk operation and you're using Advenio just on one reception desk, you can call it main entry or something like that. If you are in an operation that has multiple reception desks and you have multiple licenses of Advenio sharing a single database, then you will want to give each reception desk a unique name so that when you print your reports you can see where the visitor activity has happened, which door they have arrived in. We do not want to save our changes, and we will carry on to the current visitor list. This is the list that will show us a real-time view of who is currently in the building. Now you can see that we have two right now. They are both named John Doe, and it's showing us the information we've collected from the Advenio system at the time they arrived in the building. We can sort this list by clicking on the column heads if we wanted to find a specific person in a hurry. And the way a person is eliminated from this list is that they are dismissed from the building. Now what you can't see on your screen is at the bottom of my window I have some dismissal options, and what I can do is I can select a specific person and dismiss them, and it says, are you sure you want to dismiss John Doe? I will say yes, and you can see that they are now removed from the list. Advenio does not try to be smart enough to dismiss guests on its own unless you want it to. Instead, it relies on the knowledge of the receptionist to dismiss the guests as they leave the building. So as the receptionist sees people leave the building, it will be their responsibility to come to this screen, find the appropriate person, and dismiss them explicitly. This screen will refresh itself every few seconds, so you can have a computer dedicated to just keeping this screen open so somebody has a real-time view of who's in the building and they can simply dismiss them as they go. We will close the screen and take a look at the reports. This is the visitor log report, similar to the current visitor list, except that it will let you see back into history and to see people who are currently in the building and those who have been dismissed. You have several options for producing the report. You can produce the report by date range, or you can ignore date range and you can search for specific names. The more criteria you enter, the fewer names you will see on the list because your search criteria is tighter. The less you enter, the more you will see. So if I were to do a search right now, I would see a report showing me the history of all visitors to my building. Now, since I'm just using test data, I will have very few in there. But we'll take a quick look at that and I'll resize the window for you. There, this report will show you what desk they arrived at, who they were there to visit, their names, their organizations, when they arrived and when they were dismissed. This gives you a great advantage over paper logbooks, especially if you're dealing with multiple reception desks, because this allows you to electronically search based on your search criteria for specific events of people arriving at your building across all of your reception desks in one report, as opposed to having to flip through a paper book to find specific things by date. That's it. The only other option here in the File menu is to exit, and so that completes the tour of the Advenio back office. For more information, go to www.turningpost.com/Advenio. Thank you very much.